I got a real tree camo hat on right now.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
But it's like low-key like NASCAR, so it says I Heart Movies A24.
Yep.
But I'm like, let's do it.
Pero like, ¿sabes qué? I don't give a fuck, dog. Hey, I have my chair coming in on Saturday. My new chair.
Oh, because your old one
Oh,
broke?
let's go.
'Cause that big old dumpy?
Welcome back to the
Should
Cool
have some
Comic Show.
cake back
I
there.
am one of your hosts, Damien. With me, as always, is two hosts
Like
that
cake man, am I
have
right?
multiple pounds, loads of cake behind them.
Whoa. I'm not out here breaking chairs, all right?
Galactic Mystery, aka Mystery, aka E.
Oh, I got to put the
And-
peace sign down. What is it?
Jelani Carter,
Hi.
aka Jelani Hendrix, aka
Oh, I just put the
Jelani
peace sign. God damn it.
with a body.
All right.
If
What
you're
about
wondering
it?
why we are holding down our peace signs, we just came back from TwitchCon. We talked about it in our last episode. We were very law-abiding citizens. We were in bed by 8:30, 9 o'clock, the latest, usually. Didn't really get rowdy or raucous or kicked out of our place we were staying at.
not at
But
all.
that was a lot of fun. If you're not following us on social medias, make sure you check out our Instagrams, our Twitters, all that fun stuff. We had a couple fun photo shoots, some behind the scenes, some moments where some of us were more drunk than others. And some of us took one shot, some of us took two, some took 4 shots. Who knows? That's for you to find out on our social medias.
It wasn't.
But
4
we
shots
are
is
back
crazy, man.
with our October episode. It's already October. Holy.
October. I hardly know her, am I right, guys?
All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.
Okay.
But yes, for our
Wowzers.
monthly episodes, as you guys know, we go through kind of just a recap of all the news from the last couple of weeks. And fortunately for this episode, there was a lot of news in the last week, specifically for DC Studios. So we'll go through each category, talk about some of our things we're interested in, things we're kind of like, one movie specifically that may be coming out this week, clown related. But starting off, like I mentioned, we had a lot of DC Studios news, and we kind of talked about this a couple episodes ago, where we felt like the end of this year was going to have a lot of news for DC Studios as we go into 2025. So first off, I would say probably the biggest news out of all this, we finally got our Hal Jordan casting. Kyle Chandler.
Yes,
He
sir.
he's done a couple of different things. I've seen him around. I haven't like seen a lot of them. Like I know he did like Friday Night Lights. I know he did
yeah.
Bloodline. A couple of different things.
I know him
what did-
from
Go
this rugged show called Grey's Anatomy.
Small indie show.
Small.
Yeah, hopefully
Yes.
it'll get a long run going on there.
Some people call it
Yeah.
the live action Simpsons. I also know him from a movie called Game Night, which was pretty good.
Game Night was hilarious.
It was, but yeah, I'm excited. He's a good actor, so I feel like he fits the bill for like an older Hal Jordan. I'm excited to see how it plays out, what the story is behind him, since he's he's not rookie hour with that casting. So I'm excited to see what they do.
Yeah, looking at pictures of him, he definitely has that like kind of classic American hero look to him. So like when I think of Hal Jordan in like a live action way, he's kind of like what I would think of. You know what I mean? Like I think it would be good. I mean, he's been in a lot of like legendary shows. I mean, of course, like Grey's Anatomy and movies and everything. So he definitely has the acting chops, and he's more of like a seasoned actor. So I think you need someone like that who is like very popular in TV and low-key in movies, but like kind of, I don't want to say kind of needs that big break, but like would be ready to take on a franchise because I mean, it's obvious that like these next couple of people who are going to be casted in these movies are going to be these characters for a long time. So you kind of like need
90
someone
years.
that has that. Exactly. Solid reference. It's been long enough. Yeah, that's a Deadpool reference. But yeah, like you kind of need someone that like has like enough experience and is willing to take on that task. And I think he might be able to do it. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I think, and I just looked it up. I recognized him from something else recently. He was in the recent Godzilla movies, so that's where I was like, oh, I recognize his face from there. But yeah, you guys were talking about casting someone who can kind of run the franchise. I know there was increased discussion, we'll put it that way, on the internet when this was announced because he's almost 60. And people are curious of like, okay, if Hal Jordan's going to be 60 at this point, Guy Gardner already got cast, and I think Nathan Fillion's like in his 50s or 60s too. Like, how old is John gonna be? You know,
Probably in his
and-
50s or 60s too.
However old Tyrese is, that's how he's gonna be.
Oh,
Please.
please don't do this.
Yeah, because like I know they said John, like I know they said John's gonna be the recruit under House, so maybe like in his 30s, that would be pretty cool. But it is interesting that Hal Jordan's a little bit older, but I do think he could play like a younger 40s. He looks like he's in his 40s.
Yeah.
He doesn't look that old.
I like that they're older as well because it also opens up the gate, depending on how well it does and depending how far they're trying to go with the Green Lantern series. It opens up the gate for the younger recruits to come in, like Jessica and
Yeah.
That's my exact thought.
So I'm with it. I'm with it. We have enough. We have enough superhero from the beginning stories. Just throw us in the middle and
100%.
give us a
Just
good movie.
give us context through flashbacks. We'll be all right.
Yeah.
We're big boys, big girls.
We know how to
got
read
it.
flashbacks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I agree with you. Like I'm very much like this gives us a direct line to the other Green Lanterns. I know there's a lot of Hal Jordan fans out there that definitely would want someone younger, but I mean, it's the same thing with the Robins, which we'll talk about in a second. But because there's so many of them and everyone has their favorite version, like not everyone's gonna be 100% happy with every single choice that kind of goes with this whole thing. But the good news is we got news from Lanterns, so which means it's not going away.
True. Because we
contrary
were
to
not getting
another
that
show.
for a long time.
There's another show we haven't got any news about that we'll talk about. I actually didn't put it on this list, but I'll mention it here. Another big kind of casting that we got. So Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, had a little bit of news. We already got the main actress. She was in a couple Game of Thrones things. I think she was already cast. I think earlier this year. But the main villain for that movie, the book, whatever the case, got casted. Matthias Schoenaerts.
I'll take your word.
He got casted for the main villain. His name is Krem or Crumb. I always forget. I remember that book in a while. Krem. And again, same thing. As long as we're getting news and we're getting information about this stuff, then it means that it's on track. Right now, it's slated to release June 26, 2026. So
Okay. All right.
yeah, he got
Right around
cast.
the corner.
Yeah, God, I'm gonna be 30.
It's coming right up.
when it
Coming
comes
in
out.
hot. Hey man, let's not play that game.
Yeah, he seems like a pretty good actor. I know he's been in a couple of things. He was in The Regime on HBO. He's also a romance drama called Rust and Bone, Red Sparrow, and The Old Guard. So kind of like similar to the actor for Hal Jordan you were saying, Jelani, where it's like they've done stuff, but they're ready for this kind of big thing in a sense.
Yeah, and I'm glad we're getting like actors and actresses that are not like the super duper popular ones. That just keeps on getting recycled and everything. So
I mean, I'm
excited to see what he does.
It's kind of the same thing that happened when the MCU started. Like Robert Downey Jr. was like nowhere when the MCU he was down on his luck to say the least when the MCU when the MCU started.
I think people forget how much of a black sheep and how much of a bet Marvel was taking when they casted
that man had crimes.
Robert Downey Jr. Yeah, he was a crackhead, but
But look at him now,
Look at him.
he's back.
Now he's Dr. Doom.
Now he's Dr. Doom.
Oh my God, I totally forgot he was Dr. Doom. That was like blanked from my memory. Anyways, so yeah,
It'll work out. Trust the process.
It'll be fine.
Trust the process.
Yeah. Anyway, so Supergirl is coming out in 2026. Also related to Supergirl, the writer for the movie got announced that she's going to be writing a Teen Titans movie.
I'm so excited.
Hasn't been a lot of information about the movie itself, whatever the case is, but it's just been announced that she is going to be writing it. So I don't know if let me see if I can pull it up.
I'm curious to see while you're pulling that up. I'm curious to see what roster they're going to go with. Of course, there's going to be a Robin. Of course, Starfire. But like, it could be anyone else. I would be excited to see Donna Troy, Kid Flash. They don't get a lot of shine. Speedy don't get a lot of shine. Of course, I'm good with the big five. The big five being the ones
five.
from our childhood. Robin, Raven, Starfire, Beast Boy.
Oh, those ones, yeah.
And Cyborg. So DC doesn't know what it wants to do with Cyborg, so he probably won't be in it. So I don't know.
Do you want him to be a part of the Justice League or the Teen Titans?
Yeah.
They don't
like,
know.
You know what I mean?
A founding member of the Justice League or a teenager.
You know what I mean?
Like,
Is he going to be playing football? Is he going to be falling apart? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
That's what I was gonna say. Is like similar to Lanterns, similar to Robins. Teen Titans. A lot of people also have their favorite, lineup, and so everyone's not gonna be 100%. I do think in terms of the general audience, the more popular lineup definitely is what you were talking about, with the ones from the old animated show and that kind of thing. I know there's people who want the original Fab Five, which is Robin, Kid Flash,
Speedy,
Donna Troy, and
Aqualad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which I think would be cool. But then they can also do something where it's like they have the the new Teen Titans essentially with Cyborg and all of them, and then they kind of have like maybe again it's just again hire us DC as your writers. They can do something where Dick and Donna just have a conversation about like they look over pictures from the old days with the old crew and like when they're kids.
Yeah, and
just
that's
like
kinda,
flashback to that.
That's kind of what they did in Titans, the TV series.
Yeah,
may it rest in peace. But like we had this kind of mesh of rosters. And then when like the old school people showed up, we are like, haha, remember our old tower? Ha ha ha. And like it was never like a big old to do, So I would be interested to see something like that, kind of find a way to merge all the rosters, but like I don't know. They got a lot to choose from. Let's hope it's just not the Bat Family, don't worry. Bat Family's going to get plenty of highlights in these announcements. True.
I agree with you. I think that's the best way to do it, of like do these characters that people have seen in TV show before, but then also acknowledge the original lineup, people that is very beloved, and you can kind of build that relationship through flashbacks. The writer's name, I did look it up. Her name is Ana Noguera. She is an actress and a playwright. She played I don't know if you guys watch Vampire Diaries. She played Penny Aries in Vampire Diaries, and she's wrote a couple of things as well. But she'll be writing Supergirl, and she is writing Teen Titans.
Nice.
Another big news, kind of out of nowhere. We're recording this on the 3rd. This was announced 2 days ago on the 1st. James Gunn just came out on a Twitter post and announced DC's first like feature-length animated movie for DC Studios. This one is called Dynamic Duo. Now, normally Dynamic Duo is reserved for Batman and Robin, just like that name. But this one is, he said it's the story of Robin, or should I say Robins, as in Dick Grayson and Jason Todd. This is going to be from the visionary company called Swaybox. There's highlight reels, and I'll put it out right now over the video. There's highlight reels from this studio, the way they work, because they do a mix of animation, puppetry, and CGI. And then also Matt Reeves is going to be producing it as well. I'm very excited. I talked about this when I first linked it to Ian Jelani, because it introduces the concept of multiple Robins to the general audience, which is this is how I get my Cassandra Cain agenda going further down the Bat Family line. I know she's not a Robin, but in terms of the Bat Family. So Dynamic Duo, what do you guys think?
I'm excited for it. Dick and Jason are at the top of a lot of people's list, being the first two Robins. So it's going to be cool to see their dynamic working together, no pun intended. But it's going to be cool to see them working together, because, they do tend to butt heads the most as far as members of the Bat Family go. Besides Damien, he just hates everyone. So yeah, like I'm excited for it, and like you said, it could open up the box for us to see a whole bunch of Batgirls. Maybe Duke Thomas is thrown around.
Yep.
If these two are running around as a dynamic duo, that means Tim Drake is probably with Batman. If
and there's a lot of Tim Drake fans out there. They're allowed too,
included.
Same.
Like, I'm excited. So it's part of me is wondering if this is why the Tomorrowverse kind of got wrapped up pretty fast.
Yeah.
But honestly, I'm okay with that. On to the next, So hopefully this is the beginning of a great era for their animated movies.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited. I mean, like if you guys have not seen any of the DC animated films, especially in like the last, I want to say like 10 years, they've been on fire. You know what I mean? Even the kind of like lackluster ones are still pretty good. So I'm excited to see like a feature length animated anything, and just Damien like saying that, you know, they do like a mix of like CGI and anime, like 2D and like puppetry already excites me in general. So I'm excited for that. Yeah, like you was saying earlier, like Jason and Dick's like relationship is very interesting, and I feel like that's like something that doesn't really get displayed a lot, and that's probably something that people are not really like used to, because they're kind of just used to.
They skipped
like,
Jason a lot for a lot of things recently. A lot of
yeah,
adaptations.
no, for sure, especially because I mean, like his past is very complicated. If you guys don't know what it is, and just like he's just a more of a like brooding, angry character. So I feel like a lot of portrayals of like Robins and just the Bat family tries to be a little like, they just want to reserve all that brooding for Bruce, and that's it.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that they have Jason up there as well and wants to show him. I mean, personally, my favorite Robins are Dick and Tim, but yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. I think it's gonna be like super duper cool. And like I said, whenever they do anything animated, especially if it's like feature length, I'm usually on board for it, because you know it gives people a little bit more creative freedom to do whatever they want.
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna be really, really dope.
You said we're booting back up Gotham Knights for the premiere? Like, what's up?
Honestly, I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, damn, what an era, because we really breezed through that game.
Yeah, it was a fun time. But yeah, so like you guys said, I think like I mentioned it also as well, just introducing the concept to a lot, because a lot of people don't know there's multiple Robins. And then you introduce this concept, then you introduce that there's multiple Batgirls. Yeah. And again, going back, we can get a Cassandra Cain movie going.
Which is weird. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, like, it's weird. I understand not knowing there's multiple Batgirls, because they do focus heavy on Barbara. But, like, I feel like every new Batman story, you don't know who the Robin is until he blatantly says their name, you know? So
yeah. They usually keep it hidden. Yeah, the only obvious one is Damien, honestly. Because it's like, oh, that's the angry one. Everybody else is just like, everybody else is pretty chill until they get older.
Yeah, that's very true.
The other thing that gets me excited about it is, and we kind of knew he was going to do this when he first took over, because he said he was going to do it, is James Gunn is taking chances on, I mean, yeah, they're popular characters, Dick and Jason, but they're not, you know, the 100% going to sell out every single time kind of characters. It's a start of taking chance for lesser known characters, and assuming that this first couple waves of movies and TV do well, they'll continue taking chances for lesser known characters. So maybe it's Zatanna, maybe Vixen, other stuff like that will come up.
Man, I would love that.
Yeah, but there was no release date, nothing like that. It was just announced. And again, Matt Reeves is going to be producing it, or his production company is going to be part of that. So
hell yeah,
I'm excited to see what story are they going to tell, because again, specifically not talking about the comics, but specifically talking about adaptations. Normally, Dick and Jason are not together in a lot of adaptations in movies, TV shows, nothing. It's usually Dick because he's the first one. They'll skip Jason, sometimes Tim, and then they'll go to Damien. And even when Tim is there, it's like limited.
Recent years.
Yeah. Because they really want that father-son dynamic. And those two, I feel like, are the closest. Well, I mean, Damien is his actual son. But I feel like you get the best father-son dynamic with Dick and Damien when it comes to Batman. Because like you said, Dick was first and Damien is blood. And so they tend to, like, shoo Jason under the rug and tell Tim to go be with the Titans or something. Just dismiss him. So
so hopefully we'll get some news. I feel like next year we're gonna get a lot of news for a lot of this stuff. So hopefully maybe next Comic-Con or New York Comic-Con actually next month something.
Oh, true.
Damn, that's right. What the hell?
So the next thing that got announced, a movie that we definitely need for characters that definitely need more limelight. We got a Bane and Deathstroke movie team up. Kind of announced.
Born of the darkness. Okay.
Kind of. The reason I included it on here was because there was some people talking about this could be kind of a when studios will announce something that's actually like a bigger project than what it is essentially. So people are thinking this is more of a Secret Six movie, which is think of, how do I put this simply? Secret Six is, in the most simple way, the Suicide Squad without government involvement, where they're just a group of villains running their own missions in a sense. There's a lot more complexity to that, and the characters in Secret Six are really, really cool and super dope. I definitely recommend checking that out. But yeah, not a lot of details that came out, just hey, Bane and Deathstroke. And the first thing I sent this to Jelani and E. I said, I'm glad we don't have no Wonder Woman projects announced, and we get a Bane and Deathstroke.
You know,
Hey man. One day.
They'll give
one
me
day.
that game
It
one
makes
day.
no sense, but one day.
they're doing their best.
Yeah, so that got announced again. Not too much details. We'll see if that ends up being the Secret Six movie. It also feels like one of those movies DC would have announced like back when they were. Remember, there was like a good 3-4 year period. Like, oh, this movie's gonna get made, and this movie is just announcing shit. Like,
you should flash that like timeline they did at Fandom that one year of all the projects that just never saw the light of day.
oh yikes. So yeah, we'll see if we get news for that
hands. It's in better hands.
Yes, yeah. Way better hands.
Yeah.
This next one I included on here, but we don't know if this is confirmed. This is just something we saw talked about, but there hasn't really been any official announcements. But there was a rumor or a Twitter account, people talking basically that the actor for Blue Beetle got cast as Nova. Again, nothing has been official announced. There hasn't been any like articles about it. All this other stuff has had like official articles and stuff like that come out. But that was just like a quick thing that kind of came across the timeline. I do feel like there's a lot of accounts and a lot of people trying to announce stuff. It seems like nowadays of like this actor this and this actor that. But
for sure.
I do know the Blue Beetle actor. I think there was an animated Blue Beetle show that got announced earlier this year, but I don't know if that's still happening. So
there's been no word on it. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Which is whack because I really like Blue Beetle.
Yeah,
it came out at the wrong time. Unfortunately, there were a lot of factors against it. Everyone was in the house.
Like, it was during the actor strike too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, huh? Dang. Yeah.
Actor strike.
Because that actor.
Yeah,
that actor's great though. Like he's great in Cobra Kai. He was great in Blue Beetle. That movie had a lot of heart. It was very funny. It was very action heavy.
Yeah. It was on brand.
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was great. So
selfishly, I hope he continues. I hope he stays on Blue Beetle.
Yeah, no, honestly, same, because I think that character in general deserves a lot of shine.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We'll see if we get official news from that. Maybe we'll get news from that before we get news from Blade. I don't know. We'll see.
Wow, that just made me sad.
Listen, if he can come for me with Wonder Woman, all right.
You know,
no, actually, I'm really looking forward to Blade.
Be like
too,
me, have zero hopes for anything. Then you'll always be.
Oh yeah, I'm still waiting for that. What's it called? That Michael B. Jordan Static Shock movie.
every time we record these, I'm like, man, I hope by the next one I can put a line in here about the static anything.
Yeah, I was just about to say you could have just left it at static anything.
Yeah. Every time I make this list, I'm like, God, one of these days I'm going to be able to put Static Shock or Static Movie announced.
Can't wait for the Milestone Universe animated film.
Yeah, I was about to say that's another thing they announced at the Fandom that one year. There's supposed to be a Milestone Universe, and that's just
can't wait to see Jaden Smith as Virgil Hawkins.
Hey man,
please.
Hey man, you're done.
Last couple of things here we have for TV and movies. First up, so we talked about this last episode, but since we recorded, we have had the premieres of Agatha and the Penguin. Both have been received fairly well. I have not personally watched either one. My plan is this weekend actually to get caught up in both of them because
you got Disney
people have been
Plus?
saying not yet. I gotta turn it back on.
Slide me those credentials.
Yeah, people. I don't know if you guys have watched either of them, but people have.
I watched Penguin episode 1.
Yeah, same.
One? Okay.
I've watched the first episode of Penguin. It was really good. I really enjoyed it.
So dope! It's so dope. I'm excited.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it once you do get a chance to sit down and watch it. It's true.
I'll already give my life for Sophia Falcone. Like I.
1,000%. I can fix her. I can definitely fix her.
It's true to the movie universe, so that is really pleasant to see that story continue, and to see it from the grimy underworld of Gotham. You know. It's really good.
AKA Newark, New Jersey. Let's go.
Yeah, I said grimy.
Batman, you said,
I know.
You said the Batman's
statement still stands. Yeah.
But yeah, and then Agatha, people said Agatha's been going well, so I think it'll be a good, fun October because I think they're both ending in October. I know Agatha does for sure. Like the week of Halloween, it has like a double.
Oh wow, that's actually they've timed that out perfectly. Yeah. That's great.
And I think Penguin's ending
Boil
at the
in
same
trouble
time too. So,
Am I right, guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
so our last point, our last point for TV and movies. Boy, oh boy. So we mentioned this in the last recording. We said, hey, you guys remember how much fun you had watching the first Joker? And you remember how much fun we had leading up to this Joker 2, where the creative people behind the movie saying, we're trying to do something that's not Harley Quinn. We're trying to do something that's not the Joker, instead of just making their own original characters. So Joker 2 officially comes out tomorrow, I believe. But, there's been early screenings and stuff like that. Tonight, yeah. And it has not been doing well. I'll say that.
No way.
What?
Say it ain't so.
Oh my god. Look,
What?
I'm shocked.
Oh my god.
Zoom in on my shock
Joker
face.
Follow Your Do is not doing well. Oh no.
More like
So-
follow your. Never mind.
I'll say this.
I'm so surprised.
I didn't have interest in going to watch this movie, so what I did was I was like, all right, let me just look up the plot, right? And brother, when I tell you from what I read, I was like, there's no way they made this into a movie. There is no way.
My favorite, my favorite thing that I've seen is like, it's a forced musical. I was like, well, that sounds interesting. And I like that the marketing really kind of laid off the fact that it was a musical. Like when it was announced, they said it was a musical straight up. But they haven't really said anything else. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of people tonight and tomorrow going to the theater and not expecting a musical. And I am kind of excited for the discourse. I know that's crazy to say.
Yeah, no, that is hilarious. I will say I would have been one of those people upset because I'm not really like a musical person.
Yeah.
So if I was one of the people in that demographic that was like, oh man, felt super represented watching that first film. Can't wait to watch the second one.
Represented is
And I
crazy.
walked, brother. When I tell you the disc, oh man, just let me not get us canceled. But,
Yeah, fair
if I went into that second movie so excited to see my favorite version of Joker on the screen, and I saw a musical, man, I would have been pissed.
Yeah.
I would have been pissed.
And I did.
Honestly,
I won't say what it is on here. Of course, for people who may still be planning on watching
Yeah,
it.
if you're interested, go watch it. Don't let us influence you. Go check it out.
But I did get the ending spoiled for me, and
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
no.
Oh yeah.
I don't
looked
know.
it up. I seeked it out.
He says I seeked it. But yeah,
I'm gonna do the same.
And that's where I'll leave it. Like I'll leave you on a cliffhanger. We'll talk about it in November.
Yeah, in November's episode we'll talk about it.
But just we'll talk about it then. Anyway,
I think for me, it could have been a good concept of like, okay, we already understand this is a different kind of Joker story you're telling from the first movie. We get it. And you bring Lady Gaga in for Harley Quinn. You're doing a musical. Like if you would have stuck to that, that would have been a cool concept and really tried to make the most out of that. Well, I think in terms of
if they
didn't
played
there's
with
a
the
way-
actual characters.
yeah, like if they went about the characters the way, and this, Jelani, this is from someone who looked up how the movie actually goes, and it's like, oh, like what are you doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think if they would have played them to the characters a little bit more, and again understanding like this is the world of the Joker that you're building, we're gonna make a sequel because the first one made $1 billion. Okay, cool. Like let's go through that concept. But the way they went, like E was saying, they went about the musical in a forceful way, and it didn't really fit into what was happening. It just it seemed like a mess from the beginning. And we mentioned this last time too. There's this weird thing with comic books and adaptations where a lot of times people who are adapting something, comic books are one of the biggest things that people try to not be the source material at all. Like try to completely. It's like why? Like,
It makes no sense to me. I mean,
understand.
maybe it's out of fear of like, okay, so I'm thinking, right? Maybe it's out of fear of, since a lot of these characters have existed for a very long time, some since like the 40s and 50s, there's a lot of adaptations, there's a lot of people's favorite versions of these characters. So maybe the directors and the producers are like, well, we're about to show our version of this, and it's not directly the same way, the same thing that, the same version that people grew up on. So like, let's just throw that out the window completely and just do something new, which I kind of get. But I think that's like, at this point in this day and age, I feel like there's been so many examples of people making really good amalgamations of different characters and taking like the best concepts from each iteration that exists, or the more popular ones, that like you can do it. You can do it. I mean, like I think we said this in the last episode. Like, if you don't want to just make a completely original movie with your own original characters and still want to do this concept, like that's fine. Go do that. But you gotta understand that, like, if you're gonna use someone as use a character as iconic as Joker, who's arguably one of the most famous villains ever created, and one of the most popular and most favorite female villains ever created, especially recently because of Margot Robbie and everything. You know what I mean? Like, why not try to put like a little bit of extra, something for the fans if you really want it to work? Like I don't know. Like that concept just and honestly, the musical aspect of it doesn't even really bother me, because I mean, like, we've seen so many. Even in Batman the Animated Series, there was musical episodes, and then half the people in the DC Arrowverse was in Rent, so like, and did Broadway, so like, and those episodes
Glee,
rule. So I'm just,
like,
so I'm just like, it's not like we're not familiar with it, but I'm just like, come on, man.
And that's where I'm at with it, because like, say it was like a hardcore musical. Cool. We've seen both the Joker and Harley Quinn belt out on like multiple different things they've been on. So like, it wouldn't be my first choice, but like I understand it. But like,
it would have been a choice we would have understood.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
We were familiar with.
But if you're gonna do that, do that. Like, go all in. Like, and keep it true to the characters. Don't say this is them. Make new characters and then force some musical scenes.
And then don't try to do the old switcheroo and be like, hey, wait a second, it's musical, and just not put that in your marketing or whatever. You know what I mean?
And that's what I was mentioning when I was saying like an interesting concept. And to your point, Jelani, of like, I understand that when comic book adaptations, you don't need to adapt every single trait about these characters like to the T, but there are certain things that are pretty pivotal to this character and their story. For example, and this isn't a spoiler because it's in the first trailer, like, they just made Harley a patient of Arkham. There's more to that story, how it kind of goes into it, but she's just a patient there. And what I was talking about earlier, of it could have been an interesting concept if they would have stuck to the story we know of Harley and Joker, of her being a psychiatrist, him being the patient, and making that into a musical in some sense. They could have explored that aspect while still putting their own spin on the characters. When you completely change Harley's background, and again, there's more to it that they do, but it's like, oh, she's a patient here at Arkham, and there's other things that they do that are completely different than how these characters meet. And again, not a spoiler, but something I saw, they call her Lee Quinn. It's not even Harley Quinn, it's just Lee Quinn. Like, just small stuff like that. It's like, all right, like, what are we doing? But anyways, we spent too much time on Joker 2. If you want to go watch it, go watch it. There was definitely a missed opportunity, especially having Lady Gaga there for a musical kind of aspect.
Who's talented as hell too when it comes to acting, and one of the greatest singer performers of all time. Like, you're just like, you're not even doing a disservice to her and her ability. You know what I mean? So like, it's just weird. Just weird all over.
And a side note to that, the director did come out, I think it was this week or last week, and he was like, yeah, I'm done with DC stuff after this movie. But yeah, so that is pretty much all the big TV and movie news. I would expect that October will probably have some more announcements, and then we probably will be kind of settled through the holidays, and next year we'll probably kind of pick up again for that. So next up, we're moving over to our books. So the first thing I wanted to mention here, Magic got a new solo series announced. I included it on here because I feel like Magic has gotten a big push the last couple years. Like, obviously with the New Mutants, the Midnight Suns game, which if you haven't played it, please go play it. Obviously she's in Rivals. She had a little bit of a cameo in X-Men 97. But yeah, I'm pulling up the artist or the writer right now. But she has a new series coming out in January 2025. This is from writer Ashley Allen and artist Herman Peralta. This is her first ever ongoing solo series this January.
Oh snap. Okay, I'm gonna tap in. I've always been kind of fascinated by her character, but I didn't know anything about her. I just always thought like her design looked cool and her powers sounded cool. Yeah. So
I'm a fan
now that she's getting her own. Oh, okay. Who's her brother? And
Colossus.
Then yeah, duh, same. I didn't realize that. Yeah, like I said, I don't know anything about her character, so I'm glad that she's getting a solo ongoing series. Now I can like learn a little bit more about her and just kind of get familiar.
Same. I like that she's been popping up a lot, which is something I feel like Marvel has the ability to do over DC. I will say that Marvel gives a lot of their lesser knowns a shot across any type of media, and like once that character finds their audience, they're like push 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 because I didn't know a whole lot about magic. I think Midnight Suns was my first introduction into her, but like she is a phenomenal character. So like Jelani said, I'm really looking forward to the book. And I'm ready to see more of her. I'm glad she's getting to shine on her own now.
Yeah. And I think, same thing to what you're saying, E. It's like when DC wants to push a character, they will. For example, the last 10 years, look at Harley. I mean, even before that, but like
That's fair.
Harley's got an insane push, but they're very like, we'll do one character and that's it. It's like,
Yeah.
you could be doing so much more with some
They
of these
don't
characters.
know how to pivot to somebody else.
Exactly. It's just like, it's
I mean,
so
like
weird,
Marvel would just create their own continuity if they want to push a bunch of characters. Like, all right, cool, and now this is the whole world, and it's just all these different characters, you know. So I definitely agree.
Because Marvel, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say Marvel didn't really have a trinity before the MCU. Like Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America weren't as popular as they are now, and now they're like household superheroes. Like people who don't even dabble in comics know who those people are. So
Oh yeah, 1000%.
you know, DC get it together. But anyway,
But speaking of making new universes, the absolute line of books for DC is coming out soon, has come out soon. There's been a lot of things previous that have been posted.
Yeah.
I just included in here. We don't have too much specifics on it because the actual first issue isn't out. But I included it because there's been a lot of good things that I've seen, specifically with Wonder Woman. I know Batman and his big buff, beefy ass has been showing her out, but Wonder Woman, like her being
the absolute
like,
Superman memes are so funny.
it's like,
And it's the artist retweeting all of them too, so it makes it even better.
it's just I included it on here because it's like they look really cool. I'm excited to when Wonder Woman comes out to like pick that up because there was a preview page that came out from her where it looks like it's Cersei and one of her like transformation snakes, whatever. It seems like was raising Diana and the clay origin and that whole thing. So
Nice.
Okay.
I don't know, we'll see. But Absolute Line does look like it's gonna be kind of crazy.
Can't
Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
Next thing I have on here, Green Arrow and Green Lantern World's Finest. They had a one-shot got announced. The World's Finest line is that line that has been by Mark Waid and Dan Mora with crazy cool art and all the fun stuff that's been happening.
Cool.
The reason I included it is Green Lantern and Green Arrow, they had a very, very iconic run in the 70s called Hard Traveling Heroes. And that was the run where it really put, like, especially at that time in the U.S., a lot of their political ideas, or a lot of their social economic ideals to the forefront, and how Oliver and Hal are kind of clash in that way, in that sense. But yeah, this was a new one shot. This is by writer Jeremy Adams and artist Lucas Meyer. The brief synopsis they have, it says everyone's favorite hard traveling heroes are back and brought to you through the iconic lens of World's Finest. In the not too distant past, Oliver Queen and Hal Jordan find themselves at a crossroads, and only teaming up together once more will save them from the scope of the mysterious bounty hunter known in whispered tones throughout the world as Deathstroke the Terminator. Plus, writer Jeremy Adams returns to the world of Flash to weave a twisted tale of Barry Allen on the road to crisis. It's a world's finest adventure you cannot miss in this special oversized one shot. So it's just a one shot, but it's just cool, kind of like a good nod to their old classic run. It was like a road trip adventure too in that book. It's a lot of fun. I might go back and
I'm looking forward to it. Like I like their dynamic, and if they kind of lean on politics like they did back then, you know, they have a lot of material to go off of. To say the least. So I'm looking forward to it. No surprise, I'm a huge Green Lantern fan, and I really enjoy Green Arrow as well. And like Dame said, like that book was ahead of its time. It still was really good during that time frame, but I feel like a lot of comics weren't doing what that one did, and so if they're planning on kind of pushing that envelope again in this story, even though it's just a one shot, I think it's going to be something truly special.
Next up, we also have, I included this on here. It's a pretty cool thing. So there's a new novelization coming out called The Intergalactic Empire of Wakanda. This is a novelization of Ta-Nehisi's Coates run from 2018. I've had that book on my list to buy because I've heard a lot of good things about that. But I included it on here because I think Marvel and DC used to do these novelizations, which is essentially taking a comic book or graphic novel and just turning it into a novel in a sense for people who, don't want to look at pictures, I guess. But the little intro here they have, it says, in 2018, Ta-Nehisi Coates teamed up with artist Daniel Acuna to expand the world of Wakanda beyond the stars. Black Panther, this was 2018 run, introduced the intergalactic empire of Wakanda and put T'Challa at the center of cosmic rebellion. Now, award-winning author Sui Davies Okungbawa adapts Coates and Acuna's work into the novel Marvel Black Panther, the Intergalactic Empire of Wakanda, which will be coming out April 29th, 2025. So all you bookheads out there who don't want to look at pictures, comic books are books too. The next point I have, I'm very excited every single time we get to do this. Zatanna number 4.
Let me grab my comics.
I know we said we're going to make a separate video to go over all the spoilers, so we just want to give your quick thoughts about the newly released second to last issue of this Zatanna Bring Down the House.
Why is it almost
run.
over?
I know, it's so good, dude. It's so good.
Yeah, I just got through reading right before we went. I said went live.
Live.
Right before we started recording, and man, I'm not ready for it to end. Like
Same.
I understand the next issue is going to be the climax, especially after everything that took place in this issue. I am not ready for it to end. Also, Constantine was looking good. But anyway.
man, I miss seeing their dynamics so much, and I got so excited when I went to the comic book shop and I saw all the different, like, it was tough. I mean, I feel like every single time I pick a physical issue of this series up,
so many good
covers. I'm just like which cover do I want to get?
They're
I was
so
deciding
good.
between two different covers that just prominently like showcase Constantine and Zatanna being all snuggled up. But yeah, this issue was really, really good. The story is shaping up so well. Like we're not going to do any spoilers, but it's going deeper into, I guess, how Zatanna's past is currently affecting the present, and how it ends is just read it. Like, it's such a good series, dude. It's
just read it. There's again, no spoilers, there's a panel where her and Constantine they get to Paris, and she like walks out, and there's like, it's her face, it's the backdrop, she has like this fur coat on. It's just it's just so nice to look at, obviously to read too, but with each of these issues I'm reminded, I'm like, just make this a Zatanna origin movie. Just do this story.
Please?
Just do this.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? Just cast someone.
Batman.
So that's Zatanna number 4. Again, be on the lookout after issue 5 will come out later this month, and then we will do a separate just Zatanna Bring Down the House entire review deep dive that'll be dedicated to this book. I'll probably reread it twice before,
I was about to say, I'm going to definitely reread everything, just so everything is fresh in my mind.
Yeah.
And then the last book I have on here is a book I actually haven't started yet, but I wanted to include on here for Jelani and E. This is Plastic Man No More. I know it just came out. Is issue 2 already, or is it just issue 1?
Just issue 1.
I think just issue 1 is out, yeah.
I haven't read it yet, though.
I read it.
Jelani?
I read the first issue. It's really, really good. I mean, basic concept is... basic concept is, Plastic Man is out on a mission with the Justice League, gets hit with a death ray. Notice that it starts tickling a little bit more than usual. The repercussions of that ensue. So he's kind of like, I mean, it's not really like a spoiler. It's in the title. You know what I mean? He's kind of...
in the pitch, they said he was dying.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So he's basically dying. He's being broken up at a molecular level.
That's not what
so
you want.
it's... No, not at all. Especially for someone who's kind of impervious to dying.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
That's kind of like his whole thing outside of just being stretchy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, the actual powers of Plastic Man is actually kind of insane. It's like, I remember on TikTok randomly, it's like, who would win in a fight, Superman or Plastic Man? And everybody's like, oh, yeah, of course Superman. But a lot of people are like, wait a second.
Plastic Man
you got to really understand how like, the fact that Plastic Man doesn't kill everybody is a miracle.
Yeah.
Even Batman would say that. But yeah, like, the story is shaping up really nicely. How it ends is like a really cool way too of just like what you like. How it ends, you know that the hijinks that's going to ensue in order to get the story going and like ultimately to its completion is going to be hilarious and just interesting. But it has a lot of really cool emotional moments as well. They dip into his past a lot as well, which I think will be cool to kind of like build out his story a little bit, because I feel like a lot of people's familiarity with Plastic Man as a character is more comedic than anything.
Yeah.
So the fact that they have those emotional beats throughout this story, I think is going to be really dope just to read and experience. So I highly recommend it. I think it's going to be really cool. And the artwork is awesome. There's like there's a few different artists that are throughout the book, especially when they reference his past. So it's not always the same art. So you get to see different artists do their thing, and you can kind of like, it's cool seeing the shift in how his life is now to how his life was before, and they really convey that very well through the different artists that take on the story from panel to panel. It's not just like one chapter is like one issue is just one artist and the next issue is another artist. It'll be like 2-3 pages of one artist and then they'll switch back to another one. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I'm looking. My plan was to pick it up this weekend in the middle of me watching Penguin and Agatha. But I looked it up, and yeah, actually, issue two just came out. Came out. So
perfect. I'm going to the comic book shop tomorrow.
That's perfect timing. So I'm gonna read those 2 issues this weekend. I'll watch Penguin. I'll watch Agatha, and have an exciting October. The last thing we have on our list for the day, video games. Not a lot of news because DC refuses to announce anything for Wonder Woman's game. But for Marvel Rivals, since our last recording, we did get an announcement that Psylocke will be joining the roster of Marvel Rivals. And then at the end of her trailer was a little tease for, as someone here would describe him, Moon Knight. Not Moon Knights, Moon Knights.
So,
but yeah, just quick thing. Psylocke's coming out. I assume we're gonna get 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 more characters before the actual game gets dropped. So
yeah,
that's
we got until
I miss Rivals.
Yeah, I miss it.
2
I was
months.
thinking about 2 months. Oh my god.
Guys, it's only 2 months.
You said 2 months until December?
Yeah, it comes out December 6th.
Wow, this year has just,
We're in October.
It's almost 2025.
Stop it. Slow down, please.
I'm about to be 33 in a few months.
Yeah, I'm about to be 30. Yeah, so.
But we talked about this last time. If you want to see us play some Marvel Rivals, Galactic Mr. E will be doing a 72-hour stream that the game comes out.
Yeah.
By the time I stream again, I won't be Galactic Mr. E, so.
Ooh, a little tease.
A little new teaser.
Ooh.
But that's going to be it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for vibing. Let us know what you've been reading, what you're looking forward to, and if you like some of this casting that's been going on. And let us know who you would cast for Jon Stewart, because there's a lot of discussion right now on who should or who should not be Jon Stewart.
I should be him.
I personally vote Carrot Top, but that's just me personally.
Hey, man. Don't piss me off.
Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time with a review of issue 5 of Zatanna with our November episode, and maybe some more casting announcements, news to talk about? Question mark?
Yeah.
Okay, bye.